So I'm going to put a couple of shelves here. So this space, as you can see in our kitchen, is a pretty empty spot where would like to put some shelves. In order to do that, I looked at all the brackets that are ready-made and readily available in Home Depot or Lowe's. Most of them are like L brackets that just comes like that with a little thing on the bottom. Some of them look okay, but feel like they're not strong enough. And if you want to put three shelves, then you need to put like one, two, three, so six different brackets, and then probably something in the middle. And it just gets a little too much. Also, I don't like the look of it when you put six brackets in a row. So instead of that, I just decided to do something with plumbing fixtures. So the pipes I used here are the standard half-inch black iron gas lines. So as you can see, it's a half inch, and the reason I used half inch is because plenty strong enough for a bracket, as well as that's the cheapest you can buy. You can probably buy 3/8, but it's not strong enough. 3/4 is great if you can afford it, but I like the look of half inch. So anyway, so what I have here is basically uh, two identical brackets, and in order to make these, the parts you need are basically two floor flanges. So these are the floor flanges that you can screw to anything. Comes with four holes, and I just need those two holes because the studs goes this way and there's nothing on these two. I could put a filler screw in there, but this is all that's holding it, and same on the top over there. Just make sure you line the holes up and down when you screw them tight. So two floor flanges, and then the dimensions I'm using for this particular bracket is I bought 12-inch nipples. You could even make a custom length if you can thread it yourself, but I don't have any of the threading equipment. Home Depot has threading, but that they would do, but this took a lot of different nipples, so it may be too much to ask them to do 8 different threading um, for that purpose. So what I bought for these two brackets is two floor flanges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 different half-inch, 12-inch nipples, half-inch diameter. So that's what these are. Everything is exactly the same size, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 12-inch. And I have two elbows, top and bottom, and a T fitting right here. There's nothing attached to here because it's super strong enough, like you could hang on it. It really doesn't need anything. You could also put a flange in here if you want a floor flange, just to make it matching with the top and the bottom. But I would just prefer it like this because a board is going to sit on top here, and all three of them. So it'll be three shelves right there. One thing you also notice here is that even though it is black iron, usually it comes with like a little gooey, oily surface. So we got rid of that and primed it and painted it all black with a regular Rust-Oleum spray can. So that's what you're seeing here. It looks really good. So here you go. A nice DIY project that's quick and easy. Cost wise, if you're going to count, just add $2 to $5 range for each part. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 times 5, $60 plus a couple of extra here and there. So I would say between $60 and $70 is what you're talking about for two brackets here. Um, and the boards, then depending on what your length is and what kind of board you're going to use, you could use regular particle board stuff, or you could use a good oak board that's stained and all that. So you're talking about roughly like $100 range for a three shelf that goes on the wall. The plus side is it's super strong. You can literally hang on it and nothing is going to pull out here, um, compared to all the smaller brackets. So it's definitely worth it. We're going to put like pots and pans here and hang some pots and pans right off of it. So it'll be a good shelf for a kitchen. So I'm starting to stain the planks for um, use as a shelf on that bracket. The cabinets are pretty dark, so I'm trying to get that kind of matching effect with the nice dark plank. But it's kind of hard to achieve on a soft wood. I believe this is birch. Whether it's pine or birch, you're going to get pretty light shades. In order to achieve that, I had to use basically a pre-stain. No matter what you stain, it's ideal you start with a pre-stain. And on top of that, this is the key. I'm using a gel stain or dye stain. They call it. It's a little bit thicker in color than a normal wood stain would be. It just gives that nice consistent look compared to a wood stain, which will be a little more lighter. So I'm using this to give that red effect in the background. Um, as you could see on the board, it's got the little reddish tint. And once that's completely dry, I would use a black Kona stain, which will darken it even further than what it is now. And as you can see over there, that board is already stained with the black on top of the red, so it gives a nice deep, darker shelving look. So once we are done, put some satin polyurethane, not too shiny, but just a little bit of satin shine on it, and then we can mount it on those brackets and see how they look. All right, so the staining is done, and the polyurethane coat, couple of coats of poly satin finish, just to mimic the same color as this cabinets are done. So just placing the shelf on the bracket, and just to note that I had to cut off a little notch here and here to compensate that little bump in the flange, so they fit snug and level. So these boats, you notice when they go on this side, it's sitting on the pipe right here. It's let me focus. Yeah, on this side sitting right on the pipe and not on the elbow. And on the other side, the notch takes over to make it exactly level. That way it doesn't move around. The board like stays in place and is level when where you want it to be. There you go. Snaps right into place. So one other thing we did is put little holes on each. Need to drill through the board and put a nice 2-inch screw through, and that'll keep the um, shelf in place. So, cool little shelf. Like the way it turned out. Exact color match for the cabinets, and gives it a little rustic open shelving look. Like it. So this is the end product after I put a couple of coats of polyurethane. Got a satin finish with the dark stains, so it exactly matches with the cabinet all around the kitchen, which is great. It matches the exact shine. You could see a little satin shine on the cabinet, so it's matching that and the dark color as well. So just to recap on the materials that are needed to make this shelf is basically 10 of these 12-inch long half-inch pipe. So it's a 1 foot long pipe. If you count how many, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5, so it's like 10 of these you need. And then you also need 4 flanges. Those are called floor flange, and you need 4 of those. And I didn't put one here because it's pretty strong enough with just the end ones, and you don't need an extra one. Also, you would need 2 elbows on the top, 2 elbows on the bottom, so 4 elbows total, and 2 T's for the middle section. So that's basically what you need in terms of material. Just make sure you mount it on a stud. In my case, I mounted it first on a stud and then measured and calculated how long of a board I would need. If you don't have that luxury, make sure you at least anchor it properly so it doesn't fall apart when you put things on it. In this case, it's super strong and I can put a lot of weight on this, no problem. The longer uh, the span between these two mounts, make sure you get thicker boards. So there you have it, guys. A free off the wall hanging iron pipe shelving unit for your kitchen or anywhere. It doesn't matter. So write your comments and let me know what you think of this little project.